Hello everyone, welcome. Today it's Force Impressions again for the PSP. Today we are going to be talking about a level 5 game. Well known! Not really. But is it not well known for good reasons? Not really either. To be honest, this is very impressive Force Impressions. I've heard of this game quite often. I actually had no idea that level 5 was on it because Sony had to take all the spotlight. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about this, based on well-known historical killers. Woo! I like the book deal. As a note, the inside has a reversible cover of this image here, so it also has a little customization, and it also has color in the pages. Ooh, really nice. Oh, look at Henry, though. He looks like a creepy-ass kid, though. Anyway, so, obviously getting the package quickly getting out of the way. So, what makes this game interesting to me? After all, like I just said, it left a pretty nice impressions. And it's a tactics game. And I just told Carter, to be honest, it's really hard to make me go, wow, on a tactics game. Because, well, there's a lot of shit that's been done. I mean, you got Disgaea that's just batshit insane. You had so many strategic elements that have been reused, like spears reaching out farther and shit. You know, it's really hard to just do something really fucking different when you're sticking to the tradition, not going like weird, like Project X Zone, for example. You know, the combat and that's different. Be honest, there's a lot of nice touches in this that I see while maintaining normal elements that most people who've played tactics games would pick up and understand why the enhancements. Mainly, they're all little combat things. There's a nice little gimmick with the main character, and of course, historical references. The game borrows heavily from historical references, but obviously isn't 100% historical. There's demons and shit, a side plot about demons and shit, come loose and crap, and amulet legends and stuff. So, I mean, it's not all 100% factual, but it's an actually interesting concept. And of course, being by level 5, we can definitely not expect over-sexualized women to be in the game and to actually have poppable and meaningful women characters in the game instead of boobs and ass everywhere. Yeesh. Is it hard to have a good character? It's like, oh, I have no personality, but here I'm barely wearing clothing for you. Ooh. I mean, I really appreciate a good character. And obviously being on a more historical character leaves a lot of good space, and level 5 has pretty good taste in keeping character level. Though there was Dragon Quest VIII Jessica, but hey, at least she actually had a personality still. But so a lot of the story does keep up with the historical knowledge of it, but you know, obviously those liberals and such. Many of the characters are supposedly based off companions she had in life, so it's very interesting. And I'm not going to lie and say, oh, I'm so knowledgeable on this. No, I'm not. I'm not very knowledgeable on French wars and stuff. Sorry. The Spanish Inquisition has taken over my room, so I don't have a lot on that. But I actually could be very intrigued to look up some of it as interesting reference material towards battles, villains, and events through the game. It's very, I mean, just the beginning of it actually got me. I mean, I looked on the Wikipedia page, read a whole bunch of shit. I mean, I've heard of her before, you know. I mean, she is very famous in a lot of Western. What's the term I want to use? Like, I guess just historical references. I mean, Napoleon fucking liked referencing a lot. I don't have the thing with Napoleon. Shut. Anyway, so again, we digressing away from what I was saying now. So, avoiding the plot, or to give a general idea of the plot, basically your village gets burnt down, you go, revenge! And you go after revenge, but the main character gets a amulet that gives her mystical powers. And you go and fight the English, which has been taken over by demons! So, yeah, that's the beginning of the game, pretty much in a nutshell. So going on, first interesting element is the amulet the main character gets. The amulet basically activates super powers! A transformation that lasts 2 turns. For now. Now, this is a first impression. That might have more elements in it. It could last more, possibly. There is an interesting SP counter with little dots by it that only 2 are shining. And there's a bunch of gray ones by it. So, what is this mystical transformation? Well, the character basically pulls a Saga Frontier Kamen Rider kind of thing and goes badass. But what's interesting about this badass move is not simply, I'm powering up. It's actually an interesting strategical element in combat. Put simple, if she kills the target, she gets another turn. Just think about it. You could get enemies and try to get them near each other, maybe even poke them a few times to make sure that they're close to death and just chain all their deaths with a death. Godspeed, death! Godspeed, death! Godspeed! It's a really interesting concept. I mean, in the first combat that she actually had access to it, I was able to chain 4 of the characters' deaths together with it. It's a really interesting combat. But, of course, there's also a, I like how a lot of the stuff in these new elements that I'm going to talk about have kind of a risk-reward system, too. I mean, the reward is mass mortal and extra turns, but what's the risk? Running off. Leaving everyone you have far behind. Because after all, they're not getting these extra turns. And if you want to keep the chain going, you gotta keep moving. Gotta keep marching. Oh shit, my power just went out and I'm surrounded by 5 people and everyone else is that way. Another interesting element is the burning aura. The burning aura appears when someone attacks. And it usually, as far as I can tell, appears exactly in the opposite direction on the other side of the target in the same spot you are. So, like for a spear wielder who has a square in between the target, it would appear in that same square he would be standing on if he was on the opposite side of the target. But basically, what does Burning Aura do? It encourages ganking. Basically, like many tactics games, side and back attacks are encouraged to avoid shields or less evading or heightened chance of hitting. Well, the Burning Aura encourages you to take advantage of that to another level. Obviously, have a weak character initial attack, and have strong character go up behind and boof! Haha! Burning Aura. Extra damage. Another thing that's interesting is Unified Defense. Unified Defense has another risk-reward touch to it. Okay, what is something you usually don't want to do in tactics games, especially when magic starts becoming a really hardcore element of the game? Grouping together. You do not want to be grouped together. Final Fantasy Tactics would be kill death to you when summons and shit start coming into play. But to access Unified Defense, that's what you have to do. Unified Defense, when characters are in a close niche together, it unifies their defense and increases the target's defense. There was this damage. That's a very interesting element. But the risk reward is, of course, that the book clearly states that unified defense does not take effect against area effect or magic. So you still have that risk that area AoE stuff could potentially kill everyone. So you have to be careful. Is it worth the risk of the extra defense everyone could get bunched together? Or is it possible one of the targets are going to go throw a fucking flail spell at you and burn you all up? I like the interesting touches. Music's pretty good so far. Obviously, I haven't gotten to heal a whole bunch. I've gotten to participate in a few battles. The art style, I have to admit, kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't hate it. I actually like the 3D chibi models, which is kind of weird considering that was a complaint I had about Final Fantasy 3 and 4 on the DS. I mean, 3 and 4 on the DS, I didn't really like the chibi look. I really like the chibi look with this game. It's really nice. The actual 2D portraits of the characters, they kind of feel bland to me, but at the same time, I guess I do have to appreciate them not being unrealistically insane. Like, proportions of things. So I appreciate some of the more realistic touch there, Overall, though, I'm really actually impressed with this. It does several elements I find interesting. And to top it off, there's tons of customization, too. As far as I can tell, there was no real class system. You just basically slap weapons in, and you can equip skill gems. Ooh, excuse me. You can equip special kind of skill gems. I'm pretty sure it will forward to them as gems. Let me double check that really quick. Stones, skill stones. Okay, I was close. There's magic, attacking, and all kinds of special crap. I got a melee one to begin with that did extra damage and got heal and that. So it looks like there's no real limitations except based solely on your level as far as I see. There were certain skills that also increase certain stats, like the spear guy who joins you has one that gives him 3 extra attack. There's also a elemental system. It's a 3-way triangle. Basically it goes... Actually, does the book have that? I know what the game obviously tells you about, which is a good tutorial. The game actually had a pretty nice opening tutorial. It didn't really bother me much. No, it does not show a chart in here of that. Basically, it's a 3-way elemental thing. And it basically goes, one direction is overpowering and the other direction is harmful. So, but you don't really have to remember it. Unlike some games, I just like, you better remember these 24 elements and how the fuck they relate to each other. We're not going to give you any fucking knowledge. You're going to have to just fucking remember all of it, write it down some. The game programs the arrows and that to show you, your attack, your percentage, and all that crap. It'll show a red or blue arrow, or be just yellowish orange, and red being that you are on the losing side of that, blue being on the winning side of the elemental chain, and orangish, red, yellowish color is basically neutral. There's no real benefit. Aside from that, the translation so far seems very good. Obviously Sony did since they published the game. And, I have to say this. I mean, I got recommended this game twice. Long time ago. And I actually feel so sad I've never picked it up until now. And just to think, if that level 5 was just right there on the cover, I would have just went boink. I love pretty much everything level 5's done. I don't think there's anything they've really done that I could just be like, yeah, you're going downhill now. Not yet, at least. But, they've been very good. They've made tons of wonderful games. And this was their first time on the PSP. Excellent. Very impressed. I highly recommend it. But, really, companies need to stop this shit. It's like, I understand, you published it. You want to haul yourself out, though. But, the developer, especially when they're well-known, initial developers, I could maybe just a little understand that. Because, they don't really have a huge fan base or anything yet. But, level fucking 5! They were well-known in the Western departments for fucking... For, I don't know. Just, well, it's like... I mean, I don't know. Let's see. This was, I think, 2006 or 7. So, I think Dragon Quest VIII was out there by now. Obviously, Dark Cloud 1 and 2, which was definitely the Western boom of level 5. That was definitely the Western boom. And Dragon Quest VIII only enhanced that. And of course, this Professor Layton just whooped up the DS fan base of level 5. And then, of course, Nin and Kuni right now is just tearing up the world for level 5. And it's sad that there's other games that level 5 has made that haven't come to America, which is a real shame. I highly recommend this game for tactics players. I think it will be very interesting. It was an impressive first impression to me. Because, to be honest, it's really hard to impress me. Because I played a lot of tactics games. Long ago. So it's really hard to come by a really good tactics game, in my opinion. This had some interesting ideas, and I really like that. Hopefully, it continues to be good. I really hope for that. It is level 5, and they've done really nice work. And really, again, if I had a PSP 2000, 3000 model, if I ever fucking can find... I really want to find one for a decent price. I'm not paying a lot of overpriced money on it. It really has a street value of $60, really. Like GameStop one's like $75. The only problem is I want a nice description knowledge online. But anyway, that's my own problems. I'm getting there. I want to do that. But anyway, this actually, it left such a good impression that whenever I get to that stage and start doing Let's Plays directly from a PSP, this just jumped way up on the list there with Classic Heroes. Really, it really left a very impression. So impressive, I actually want to play it. Like, play it. But, I don't really want to spoil the story if I want to do a Let's Play of it. So now it's like, oh, you need to get a PSP fucking now, you stupid dumb bitch. So, well, I'm going to go and take another look around like that. I might have to break down my pricing for it. But anyway, I highly recommend checking out this game. It left a very nice impression. It's a pretty old game, so you could probably get it pretty cheap. I got in a deal for 2 PSP games for $10 deal. So, I am very sad I never got this when it came out. It hurts me. It hurts me. It really does. Level 5 has always done quality work. It's really a shame that simply because nobody knew Level 5... that this game was kind of ignored. It does have its fans, though. I remember the first time I ever heard of it was on Dragon Den, home of millions of Western Dragon Quest fans. And I remember one of the people on there that was a really, really common person on there. And I used to actually talk to him a lot. He highly recommended the game. I just never got around to it. It is just on that list of never got around to it. Hundreds of games come out, and it's hard to obviously buy every single game that has any interest to you. It goes on maybe my top 50 regrets of not getting when it came out. Actually, that could be a video. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the game. I hope you check it out. I recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. I do not know if it's available on PSN. But hey, go check it out if it is. If not, find the fucking UMD. Soldier of England. Take it all. for France. Now I expect the Spanish Inquisition